What if the biggest thing holding you back from the life you want isn't actually out there? What if it's inside you? Well, that's the big, powerful idea we're diving in today, and it comes from Brianna Wiest's fantastic book, The Mountain Is You. So this is the book we're using for our explainer, and honestly, the subtitle says it all: Transforming Self-Sabotage into Self-Mastery. Now, this isn't about blaming yourself. Think of it more like a roadmap, a guide to go from being your own worst enemy to, well, becoming your greatest ally.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You have a goal, you know exactly what you need to do, but something inside just hits the brakes. It's that super frustrating gap between the life you actually have and the one you know you could be living. And this quote, it gives that internal block a name: your mountain. The big insight here is that the mountain isn't some problem out there in the world you have to solve. No, it's the internal landscape we've got to learn how to navigate to get where we want to go. Okay, so what if we've been looking at self-sabotage completely backwards this whole time? This first idea totally reframes it. It's not a character flaw, it's not a sign of weakness. Actually, according to the book, it's a survival tactic. So most of us believe the myth over on the left, that we sabotage ourselves because we're lazy or just don't have enough willpower. But the reality on the right, that's a total game changer. Self-sabotage isn't about a desire to fail, it's actually a coping mechanism. It's a really misguided attempt by our subconscious to fulfill some kind of deep unmet need.
And that's the core conflict right there. See, consciously, you're aiming for that promotion, or you want that healthy relationship. But unconsciously, there's another part of you that is desperately trying to keep you safe and in familiar territory. Self-sabotage is what happens when that unconscious need for safety wins the tug-of-war against your conscious desire for growth.
Just let that sink in for a second. That procrastination you do, that weird tendency to pick a fight right when a relationship is going well, that fear of actually putting your work out there, that's not you trying to fail. It's a part of you trying to protect you from what it thinks are the dangers of success or love or visibility. It's a deeply, deeply misguided act of self-preservation. So where does all this stuff come from? Well, the book points to three main roots. First, you've got these irrational fears that we just haven't looked at. Second, there are these outdated negative associations from our past, like maybe believing that success will make people dislike us. And third, there's this really interesting idea called the upper limit problem. It's basically like we all have an internal thermostat for how much joy and success we're comfortable with. And when we go past that setting, we unconsciously do something to bring ourselves back down to what feels more familiar and, safer. All right, so if self-sabotage is a misguided attempt to meet a need, then our most difficult emotions, they're the signals. They tell us what those needs actually are. They're not obstacles at all. They're more like a map. Seriously, think about that. Instead of fighting against feelings like anger or jealousy, what if we actually learned to read them? What if they're just signposts pointing directly to our deepest desires and our unhealed wounds? This shift in perspective, it's the key to unlocking everything. This is basically a decoder ring for our emotions. We're always taught to push down feelings like anger, but what if it's just a signal that a boundary has been crossed? Or that jealousy isn't just some ugly flaw, but a compass pointing directly at something you truly desire? When we learn how to listen, every single negative emotion reveals a productive path forward. It's pretty incredible. This just puts it perfectly, doesn't it? The problem isn't the emotion itself, it's our inability to figure out what it's trying to tell us. It's like we've all been given this powerful internal guidance system, but nobody ever gave us the instruction manual. Learning that language is the skill that unlocks real self-awareness. So if the mountain is us and our emotions are our guides, how do we actually start the climb? This last part is all about the practical path forward, and you might be surprised to hear what the goal really is. And this right here is a huge shift in strategy. The goal isn't to just attack the mountain with brute force. It's to become the kind of person who is capable of climbing it. The focus shifts away from defeating some external thing to building internal skills, like resilience and a real understanding of yourself. Okay, here's the 4-step path to get you started. Step 1, get real with yourself. Radical honesty is the only place to begin. Step 2, decode those triggers. Start listening to what your emotions are telling you. 3, once you know the need, find a healthy way to fulfill it. And finally, and this one is maybe the most powerful, act first. Don't wait until you feel motivated. Create momentum by acting, and I promise the motivation will catch up. And it all comes down to this. This brings everything full circle.
The entire journey, the whole struggle, it was never really about the external world or the obstacle you thought was in front of you. It has always, always been about mastering your own inner world.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Now that you can see self-sabotage as a guide and your emotions as a map, what mountain in your own life are you now ready to start climbing?